Hello and welcome to another episode of Around the Coin. This is a very short edition. Today we'll be speaking to Amelie Arras, who is doing the Bitcoin challenge. She did that last year by using Bitcoin only, traveling from Toronto to Las Vegas. And this year again, she is doing it. She's based in UK. And the challenge is to take £1,000 worth of Bitcoin and travel from Hong Kong to Singapore, where she hopefully will end the race next Wednesday, I believe, at Money 2020 Asia, which is happening in Singapore for the very first time. So let's talk to Emily. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi, Faisal. Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So tell us about this new Bitcoin challenge or Bitcoin race. What is it all about? Where are you currently and where are you heading in this race?
Okay, so the Bitcoin challenge is part of the payments race that is organized by Money 2020 and Fintech Finance. So it consists of 5 people with each one payment method that are traveling from a point A to a point B, and they've only got to use the payment method that was given to them to pay everything from travel, accommodation, and food. So this is designed to experience the real life challenges of payment method. And so I'm traveling with Bitcoin. I'm currently in Chichester in the south of England, and tomorrow I'm heading to Heathrow Airport to Hong Kong, and the race starts this year from Hong Kong on the 10th of March and will finish on the 14th or 15th, depending when people will be arriving, at Money 2020 in Singapore at the Marina Bay.
Very cool. So I'm curious, what are the other instruments that are being used by other participants? Is it something like cash or credit card or debit card? That would make the race pretty easy for them and very difficult for you, wouldn't it?
Yes. So the other payment method. So I'm traveling with Bitcoin, and we've got someone traveling with cash, someone traveling with only mobile payments. So anything that is like Alipay and things like that. One that is traveling with gold, and one that is traveling with plastic cards, so debit and credit card, chip and pin and contactless. Because in the last payments race that was in October from Toronto to Las Vegas, the guy who had contactless actually could not go anywhere because in the US no one accepted contactless.
Bummer.
So this year they've changed it to cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see the guy, with the gold being called over by customs and saying, "Sir, can we have a word with you?" I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But how difficult do you think, or you must have done your research, how difficult or easy would the task be now with Bitcoin, where you are going from Hong Kong to Singapore? And I take it it's direct from Hong Kong to Singapore, not stopping at any other place in between.
Yes, so it's stopping in places in between. So the race have actually got 5 different challenges. So you win points for this race. You win 50 points if you come on the first place, 40 points if you come on the second place, 30 points if you come on third place, 20 on fourth place, and 10 points on fifth place. And then you earn extra point for challenges that you complete. So one of the challenges is to use as many methods of travel as possible. So each travel that you take, so a plane, a boat, a car, elephant, that count for 2 points for each of the method. And we are only allowed to take one plane, so we've got to choose really carefully. Another challenge is to get as many views as possible on our vlogs, which is like quite a simple challenge. Then another challenge is to take as many selfies as possible in front of banks. Then another challenge is to get as many interviews with C-level executive as possible. And if we manage to get a C-level executive to come to Money 2020 with us, and we earn 20 points. And then the final challenge is to eat a whole durian during the travel. So if we take only one plane from Hong Kong to Singapore directly, then we wouldn't win the point that you could get in between with as many transportation as possible.
So you
stop in.
Go ahead.
So you stop like in between in different countries. So like in Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, maybe Thailand, Malaysia, and then make the final way to Singapore.
So you're a veteran of this thing. I mean, you've done this before from Toronto to Las Vegas, and you've seen the challenges. And it was pretty challenging from what I heard and when I talked to you, that it was not easy as you had thought. How are you countering that? What sort of different research have you done this time around?
So this time around, last year, the problem that I had was I used coinmap.org, and coinmap.org was telling me that there were many merchants that accepted Bitcoin in the US. And that was not true, because when I actually went to the shops, they were either closed or did not exist anymore or did not accept Bitcoin anymore. So that was a bit of a letdown. But what worked during that race is really using Bitcoin as it is originally designed to be, which is a peer-to-peer digital payment method. So I mostly relied from Toronto to Las Vegas, but in talking to people and getting them to understand what Bitcoin is in a very simplistic way, and usually saying like, if you buy me a sandwich today, then tomorrow is going to be worth maybe 2 sandwiches, without telling them that maybe tomorrow is not worth anything. So this year, my thought process was, all people need to actually accept Bitcoin is a smartphone and an app with a digital wallet. So I've done some research into how many, like the percentage of the population that has got a smartphone or own a smartphone in each country in between Hong Kong and Singapore. And there is some countries where it wouldn't be a good bet to go through, because only 34% of the population own a smartphone. So that means they wouldn't be physically capable of accepting Bitcoin. So that wouldn't be like worthless to me.
Yeah, but that's assuming that you will not be dealing with that 1/3 of the population that has a smartphone. Chances are you'll find someone with a smartphone. It's not like you're going in a very desolate part of the country, right?
Well, I don't really know that, because if I take a plane, for example, from Hong Kong to, let's say, Ho Chi Minh City, which is what I've been like thinking of doing. In Ho Chi Minh City, yes, I would be able to find people that have got a smartphone, because it is a big city. But then I can't take a plane anymore, so I will have to take another method of transportation, which is probably going to be a bus. And if I take a bus, then to travel from Ho Chi Minh City to another city somewhere, the chances are that I'm going to have to end up at some point somewhere very rural, as they do stop in like really random places in Asia. And people might not have a smartphone in there. It might be like really, really rural. I don't really know.
Is there a possibility that you might, let's say, quit somewhere in the middle and say, sorry, can't do this. Enough is enough. This is ridiculous. I can't get Bitcoin accepted, or it drives you to such an extent that you have to quit?
Never.
Oh, very good.
No. No. I'm not a quitter. I would find a way. Last year, I've called my race my Bitcoin diet, because I could not eat much. So I'm not afraid of like holding a few days or a few hours for like not eating, or like sleeping somewhere. It would be literally experimenting like what it would be like to live on Bitcoin in Asia, in between these countries. So no, I wouldn't quit. I would just I would even like walk if I need to, but I don't plan on walking the whole way through from Hong Kong to Singapore.
So, last two questions.
I would definitely. Yeah.
What excites you about this race?
What excites me is the traveling and really seeing how different it's going to be from the US. I really want to see if people are as aware as they are in the US about Bitcoin, and also there's been like a lot of like awareness growth in the mainstream through media for Bitcoin in Europe. In the UK, certainly. Last year, I went around in Chichester and asked everyone, "Can I pay in Bitcoin?" Most of the question I had back was like, "Bit what?" Now, if I go into Chichester and ask, "Do you accept Bitcoin?" they're going to say like, "No, we do not accept Bitcoin," but they know what it is. So I want to see if it's the same in Asia, and I'm also excited about just meeting the crypto community in there. I think I will be crossing some parts of Asia that I would like to meet, like some of the crypto communities through Meetup and things like that. So that's what excites me, is to see the difference.
So if someone who's listening to this show and would like to donate a Bitcoin or two, or at least a fraction of a Bitcoin or two, how would they do it to you?
So they can go on the YouTube channel, and in there, if they subscribe and send me a message, then I would be more than happy to accept some fraction of Bitcoin if they want to give me some fraction of Bitcoin. I am myself this year. So I've got a budget of £1,000 to travel from Hong Kong to Singapore, and I will give away the Bitcoin that I've got left over, if I've got any, to anyone who subscribed and commented on the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/c/Amelie Arras, AMELIEARRAS. So on that race, I am sponsored by CoinFlow, which is the UK leading cryptocurrency exchange, providing a secure and accessible platform for institutional and sophisticated investors to trade and invest in crypto. And I've got 3 mentors, so I'm really happy to be mentored by these people. So they are Anson Zil, Lida Gliptis, and Theo Vincent,
and
who
I
will
take
be
it
at Money 20.
perfect. And I think we will put their names in the show notes so that if you want to get in touch and look at their profiles, etc., you can.
Yeah.
Emily, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully we'll see the next time we see you in Singapore with a smiling face, and then we'll do a post show from there as well.
Brilliant. I really look forward to seeing you there as well, Faisal.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the hosts, co-hosts, and guests appearing on the show, and do not necessarily reflect the view of the owners and producers of the show. Paid advertisements in form of audio announcements may appear throughout the show, including this one. Advertising can also include print and other digital formats. The owners and producers of Around the Coin do not endorse or evaluate the advertised product, service, or company, nor any of the claims made by the advertisement. All programs are subject to a one-time charge for professional editing fees, for which the interviewing guest or guests may have contributed towards. The owners, producers, hosts, co-hosts, and guests on the show are not financial advisors. Any investment advice or opinion cited during the show is for information purposes only. None of the content is intended to be investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. If you believe there's been any violation of your copyright, trademark, service mark, or any other type of intellectual property, please inform us in writing by sending an email to legal@aroundthecoin.com.